This is the problem with the red pill community. It's like they talk about these high value men.
I'm different. I don't want submissive. I don't think submissive is that big of a deal for me.
All right, you wildin'. You wildin'.
The reason why I'm saying submission is not a big deal for me is I'm not a type A personality at all. So for me,
so you letting your woman wear the pants.
That's cap, bro. You consider yourselves controlling.
is she showing off the cheeks or not?
Yeah, exactly.
It's different if the cheeks are out, but is she showing the cheeks off?
She's showing them
if
off,
the
bro.
cheeks
How
are
can
out,
you not
I don't
show
got
them
a
off
problem.
if the cheeks is out?
There's a difference
from
of
showing
a
off the cheeks and having
of a
the cheeks
tasteful
out.
picture and a thirst trap.
Are you ever going to be celibate or not? I told you my answer.
Right now, in your life, if you're being honest with yourself, are you genuinely trying to wait till marriage, or are you telling yourself, you know what?
All right, the question is very trapping, but
Dear God, thank you so much for allowing me to have such great friends. Thank you so much for bringing us all together today for this podcast. The goal of this episode is really to just help other young men navigate through these dating streets. God, it's already done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
We're not talking city boy topics. We're talking stand-up guy topics today.
100%. So normally we'll have on like some subject matter experts, but today I got people that I've known for a very long time. Got my friends of over 10, 15, I don't even know how many years. Very good gentleman in the building right now.
I know Darko since he was on a bike.
Shit. No license, couldn't even drive. Wow. So to my right here we got Justin Smith, Esquire. You know what I mean? Talk to him, Justin. Talk to him.
Man, it's always great to be back on the pod. I'm a friend of the pod. You've seen me a few times. So today I'm here to bless the knowledge about something, I think to know a lot about. So we'll see.
And this is something that we talk about all the time.
Yeah.
This is something that
This is what we talk about at the crib.
So I do consider us somewhat like, if not experts, very opinionated on what's going on, right?
For sure.
All right. So then to my left, we got the boss himself, the commissioner. You know what I mean?
Don't do that.
Big Mace, new to California, but not new to the squad.
Not new to these streets at all either.
I'm ready to drop these bars.
And I'm just glad that we're talking about something that I really want to talk about. So within the podcast space, you have so many podcasts talking about dating. But for me, I'm gonna be honest, like I've kind of avoided the topic of talking about dating for a long time just because it's almost like a cliche podcast topic, right? But the reason why I wanted to get into this topic today is because you have so many people screaming about like how to date, but at the same time, I feel like the Christian perspective is missing from the conversation, right? And not only is the Christian perspective missing from the conversation, I think in the space of Christian content, you have a lot of content that touches on being married and like how to navigate through marriage, but navigating through dating is something that you don't really get a lot of perspective on, especially from the man's perspective. So then, I'm not gonna lie, all the Christian dudes I know, like I catch them like, tapping into the Kevin Samuels of the world, tapping into the, you know what I mean, like the red pill content, whatever you want to call it, just because it's like, that's probably one of the only spaces that you have people talking about dating from a male perspective. Well, in a way that like a lot of people resonate with. You know what I mean?
I just think when it comes to dating, as it relates to Christianity, we really just talk about not fornicating, not having sex before marriage. It's more of a do's and don'ts thing. But I've never heard any message about like the lifestyle you should live as a single person that's actually actively in the dating market. They always just talk about don't have sex till marriage and then get married. And it's like, well, how am I supposed to navigate the majority of what my life has been, which is being single? So I'm curious to hear your perspective because I really don't have the answers.
Yeah, but I think people feel like they don't have the answers is part of the reason why these conversations don't get had, because it's almost like you feel like an expert once you're married, but until then you almost feel like you're not qualified to have the convo. But if people who are not like people who are dating need to have the conversation because it's a lot going on, you know what I mean?
And that's what a lot of our generation is doing. It's heavily dating, right? Dating just to date and not to get married. So, not to say that marriage isn't the goal, but it just seems to be on the back burner, even with women nowadays. So, the conversations are going to be very transparent. And hopefully we're able to shed a little light on a situation for some of the younger men out there who are in these streets, trying to date, trying to find a good woman, and how to identify if a woman is really the right woman for them. So,
Okay, so then to set the tone so that people know who they're listening to, we're all Christians here,
yep.
right? Would you say that you guys are dating to be married? I'll start with you, Mace.
Absolutely. I think if you're dating without intent, then you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy. There's a lot of opportunity out there just to have the one night stands, the situationships. But for me, I value my time, and if I'm not investing in myself, whether it be for the betterment of me or in a relationship, then it's a waste of time.
Okay, and then would you say you're dating to be married too?
I think if I'm in a relationship, that's definitely the goal.
Right.
I think I'm someone who really wants a traditional family. So at age 30, being someone that wants a traditional family, I'm not trying to have kids at 40, over the next 4 or 5 years, I do want to have kids. So I do feel like, I do have to date with intention because, I want to get married and have kids.
So let's get to it. If you're dating with intention then, right, the question then becomes, what do you do in the meantime, right? Because when you're dating with intention and you run across a girl that meets whatever your criteria of a wife is, then you get out the game, you wife it up, and then you work on that until you think that you're confident enough for the marriage, right? But when you're dating with intention and you don't have somebody who you feel that way about, there's that meantime where there's still girls that you could talk to that it's not going to go there with, but you can keep them on the team. Do you keep your hands full when your hands are empty with the wifey? Or are you...
Are we saying a relationship or we're just in a dating?
So you're dating. So I'm saying like when you're single, right? Like y'all are single right now.
Yeah.
When you're single and you're dating and you're trying to find a girl who's the potential wifey.
Yeah.
In that meantime, you're gonna run across girls who look good that don't have like your.
But
criteria.
you say I feel like you don't really know.
But some girls
Maybe when you meet them, but like usually it takes you at least one day to know. So that's my thing. Like as a Christian, yeah, I get it. We shouldn't be having sex before marriage, but like, should we be going out on dates with like, different girls? Like, or should we be dating one girl at a time? Because I feel like as a single person, I could go on a date with one girl on a Friday night, a different girl on a Sunday night, the following week, a new girl. Like, I feel like there's nothing sinful about that behavior.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anything. I think you have to date. You have to increase the amount of women you run across, date, to increase the potential of running into the right one. I'm saying, let's say you went on a first date, second date, and you ran into a girl, and you're like, okay, she's pretty, she got a great job, but she's not a Christian, so I probably wouldn't wife it. Or
I mean, you definitely need to know your non-negotiables.
Okay, so before I even get the answer to this question, which I do want to get to, what would you guys say are like your non-negotiables?
Well, she has to be a Christian.
Do you agree there?
Agree.
So, whoa, do you really agree?
Yeah.
So let's say she was bad, 10 out of 10, wasn't a Christian, but wasn't anything. She was like neutral.
Atheist? Nah.
No. Atheist is a decision.
Well,
what
you're
about
agnostic?
So let's say she's agnostic. No faith at all.
Well, yeah.
Well, hold on. And so if you say, "Hey, come to church with me," she's like, "All right, whatever, I'll come."
So if you run into a woman who's agnostic, and she is open to understanding the faith and what that all entails, that might be your calling. Honestly, I mean, like if you have a girl who respects you as a man, she will follow. And like that's just a relationship that like maybe she grew up because like there's so many different walks of life. Maybe she didn't maybe she didn't grow up in a household like me. My dad was very spiritual, very religious. We were, I mean, I was on an usher board in my church.
Right.
We were going to church every Sunday. We had Bible study on Wednesday, big congregation. We would travel to other churches. I grew up in that. But there's a lot of people who don't have that experience growing up. So I understand how difficult it is when it comes to religion and faith. Like if somebody didn't have that upbringing, how do they get there?
But do you see
Right.
it as a calling, or do you see? So okay, look.
Well, I think you made a good point. I think I'm okay with that, and I think because it sounds like that person is a believer in God, but doesn't really have a direction where they're going with how they're practicing their
Yeah.
faith. They're like, I believe in God. I haven't really went to church. We prayed a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what I believe. I think I'm okay with that. But I feel like the atheist, the agnostic person that knows, like, I don't believe this.
Yeah.
I don't think that's.
But you're okay with somebody who, when they say God, it's like, I don't necessarily like have. It could be a Muslim God, it could be a Christian God. But you're just okay with them just kind of like being confused, and you're open to like guiding them to the right.
Yeah, as long as I feel like if they go through like a patch in life where they don't they have to have faith in something, that at least they're someone who, like, they might not know who they're praying to, but if they get stressed, they're gonna I be looking for a higher power to help guide them. As long as they that open minded, I could work with it. But if somebody's like, "What? If I'm stressed, and God ain't gonna fix my problems," I don't think that type of
It's
person
interesting.
is
Like,
for
I
me.
feel like I would agree with what you're saying, but I would agree with like somewhat of like a caution of like, as I expose her to more of like my belief system, I would want to see how she responds to that, right? So like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? So like, if we first start dating and you're not necessarily like a Christian, but you're kind of confused, that's cool. I feel you.
Yeah.
But then if we're a year in, I've pretty much told you everything about this faith. I've tried to invite you to church, and you know all these different things, and you're still kind of against. I think at that point, then it might become like maybe time for me to say, well, look, we're great. You're a great person, but
Yeah.
and I can even still help you in that regard. But I don't know if we should.
No,
Keep it
yeah.
together, you know
and
what I mean?
sometimes it takes some time to materialize.
Yeah.
You don't know where it's going to go. And especially when it comes to religion, like, that's not going to be a 2-day, 2
That's
week
not that.
type
That's
of
not
thing.
what you're trying to talk about on the first date.
it's not.
Second date, third date. You
It's-
might just drop. I go to church and see how they respond
Right.
more than anything.
Yeah, and I like that point because I think that if I were in the context of non-negotiables, you listed just your first one.
Yeah.
I think outside of that, one thing that I would say is a non-negotiable for me is just who you are and liking you. You know what I mean? I think like just like liking somebody is something that's like underrated. Like when we talk about lists and we talk about our
That's a light bar.
is actually the heaviest bar.
But, I mean, that's
No,
a
well, let me-
given.
let-
You're not going to date somebody you don't like. But, I mean, so
Hold
now.
on.
That means you're
so-
someone who really could get caught up in attraction. And
No, it's not
Yeah.
just
Be like,
attraction.
you're annoying,
It's not
bro.
just it's resume, right? So like at the end of the day, right? Everything that you're about to list in your non-negotiables, being a Christian,
Yada,
look
yada,
good,
yada.
yada
Yada,
yada
yada,
yada yada. Those are all things that are repeatable. I can find you 1,000 women that meet your criteria of a list.
Yeah.
Then
yeah,
there's
absolutely.
the intangible factor of that girl that makes you like that person.
Yeah.
Who they are as a person. That's really who they are.
Yeah, but if you don't like a person, you shouldn't be dating them.
But okay, you can say that's a light bar. I think that's the heaviest bar because right now, right? No, hold on, because when you hear the like all the content right now, people talking about dating, they'll talk about how like they need a girl who's submissive. I need a girl who's this. I need a girl who's that. Yada yada yada. And you can get to the point where you almost think that those characteristics are more important than just liking that person. Like that intangible, who they are. Look, we've been friends for however long. I'm not your friends because of a list. Although, if you ask me what my list of friendship is, like what I want out of friends, I'd give you criteria. But I didn't become y'all friends because, oh, he works a good job. Oh, he does this. Oh, it's just, that's just a cool person. In the same way, in a relationship, I think that it should be that same way where the foundation of it should be like, I mess with who you are as a person. Like, I think that's underrated, low-key.
No, I mean,
Because what you can end up getting is like a glorified like trophy wife though. Like a girl who like great job, looks great on paper.
all right, I'm gonna look into the camera.
Talk to the people, bro.
If you're dating just for a trophy wife, you will be happy in the short term. Long term, it is not gonna work.
There you go.
You are wasting your time, and you're gonna have a lot of headaches. So don't be dating for a trophy wife. There's a lot of attractive women out there, granted, but like Josh is saying, you need to find somebody you actually like, somebody that you're willing to hang out with, somebody you're willing to, when you go home, that's your peace. You're happy to see them. If you're not doing that, if that's not the situation, bro, you gotta get out. You gotta get out.
What's sticky about that, though, right? What's sticky about that is, depending on where you are at in your life, you may have short-term happiness that feels like you like genuinely like who they are. So you have to be sharp enough to know the difference.
You gotta have the awareness, though.
But there's a couple things that matter to get to that point.
We've all been in situations.
Your first,
let me talk.
All right, go ahead.
We've all been in situations where we were dating a girl just because she was attractive, but there was no substance behind that.
Yeah. And the first time you do it, it feel like substance. The first girl you talk to that looked really good,
but at a young,
it feel like, yo, that's it.
I think when you're younger, yes, but like at the time, Justin, us now, if we're dating a girl and she's attractive, and she's not giving you anything else but her looks, that's the first and last time I'm seeing her.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting my time with a girl who can't have a conversation with me.
I guess I'm not just saying like the looks is the only thing that she's meeting.
It's very important though.
Yeah, but although looks are very important, I think just the most important thing outside of like character and these things that we can list is liking them. Because when you think about the context of a marriage, right? If we revisit what the Bible's saying, husbands, love your wives like God loves the church, right?
Yeah, but don't twist love and like though.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, I think that in order to love your wife like God loves the church, you're applying basically grace to your wife, right? Like we're loved through grace. Although we're imperfect, He still loves us, right? Yeah. When we love our future wives, that's kind of going to be what it's going to be, where we're not with a perfect person, but it's perfectly imperfect, right? And with all that comes the need for that grace. You have more grace for people that you like. If you don't like that person, it's not gonna. You're not gonna have as much grace for that person. You're gonna be, and you might. You get where I'm going, or
yeah? No, I think that's something that for the younger generation they have to mature out of. I think when you're younger, the most attractive girl, the baddest girl you see, she's gonna have you enticed. She could be saying nothing and you're gonna feel like you're vibing out with her because she looks so good. She's saying nothing, but you're feeling like you're vibing out. But I think that emotional intelligence and emotional maturity comes from having been in a serious relationship.
Yeah. The best foundation for a relationship is friendship, right? Mm-hmm. I think that I think a lot of people right now don't look at relationships as it even has the capacity for a friendship. And like a relationship at its highest form is a girl who looks good, is submissive, and like cooks.
It's intimacy for real. Like, well, I mean, obviously we want to be celibate, but it's mostly a lot of guys are satisfied with attractiveness and intimacy. But I think
would y'all say that's how y'all are?
No, I said a lot. I said that's not us, but I think a lot of high value men just look for two things from a woman, and it's like all physical. You know, they're not looking for emotional. They're not looking for somebody to vibe with, have a great time.
All right,
with.
So then let's finish.
This is the problem with the red pill community. It's like they talk about these high value men. Those high value men that they're talking about is like the 1%, right?
Okay. The
1% that's all they have to bring to the table is money, right? And they date girls, the attractive girls that don't give you good conversation, that you don't like.
Yeah.
That is just a good time.
We've all been there.
We're not talking about that though.
Okay.
Are we talking about that?
If you're getting to an age where you feel like you're 3 to 5 years away from wanting children, there's no way you could just want someone to look good. There's no way.
Yeah. Nah, not just a look.
Because they're gonna be the mother of your children.
Okay, let's add more to it. Look good, submissive, and
see, me, I'm different. I don't want submissive. I don't think submissive is that big of a deal for me.
All right, you wildin'.
The reason why I'm saying submission is not a big deal for me is I'm not a type A personality at all. So for me,
so you letting you letting your woman wear the
You're
pants.
a yes cat, bro.
No, I'm not letting my woman wear the pants.
So you're a
But
type
I
A.
don't
There's
have-
different spectrums of type A's, but
I'm not type
like,
A.
are you
though.
taking a back seat in a
Let's hear him out.
relationship?
Let's hear him out. Let's hear.
So when I say submissive, like I think I need my woman to cook, clean. I need my woman to really kind of like what I say goes.
Can I say
I
something?
don't need that.
Yeah.
So it all depends on like the dynamics of the relationship, right? So like when you think about your relationship, let's just say you're married. Now you're talking about having kids. You got 3 kids. 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 5-year-old. What does that household look like on a day-to-day basis? And just to give you a little bit more framework, who's the breadwinner? Who's taking care of the kids? Is it a nanny situation? Is it
wait.
is it a daycare?
But what
No,
is
no,
it? Okay, well,
I'm getting somewhere
Okay.
here. Because he was talking about like we all talk about the submissiveness, and we're talking about a girl who just stays home, cooks and clean, wash the clothes, fold them, and all that stuff. But like when you really look at it, what does that ideal family like household look like?
so how?
Like, what's your role? What's her role?
So how would he define submissive?
But there's
Yeah.
girls that are out here doing that. Look, being at home, being great mothers, cooking, cleaning, but they're still arguing with their man every night. So is she really submissive, or is she just?
But that's what.
Good
But that's what I was
at
going to say.
doing chores.
So okay. Let's go around the room and so you define submissive as what? Like you said, just so if you think submissive is just cleaning, cooking, and doing laundry.
To me, I don't know. Maybe I just think the word submissive kind of has some
It is
toxic.
it's a negative
it's a
It
word.
kind of
nasty
has
word.
some
It's a nasty word.
toxic
It's a nasty
connotations
word.
to me
Yeah.
because when I think submissive, I think of negative things. I think of you doing what I want to be done, whatever that is. You listen to me, and you follow my lead, and I have a dominant personality, and you're following the lead
I
of
think
my
that's
dominant
toxic submission. I think that's toxic.
That's kind of, and I view all submissiveness kind of as toxic. So maybe that's my issue.
How would you define submission? The submission that you're looking for in a relationship.
Yeah, so like I said, it's dynamic, right? So like you really got to figure out what that looks like. Like, and if it ends up being what everybody thinks submissiveness looks like, then it is what it is. But like, I always throw out that question of the framework of the, 3 kids, household, whatever. As a man, I want to be the provider. That is my role, right? I would rather my wife stay at home and take care of the household. I don't want her to give up everything that she wants to do, but I understand that those early years in the child's development is the most important. I don't want to let that be on the shoulders of some nanny that I don't really know raising my kids. So when I say submissive, I say somebody who's like complimentary, right? And it could be a situation where you're at home. I wouldn't do it, but it depends on what that is. And submissiveness is somebody who can compromise and complement who you are in your lifestyle and how you want to raise a family.
Okay. So then, I kind of feel you what you're saying. Like I think if I were to define submissive, I would probably say it leans towards non-argumentative,
Absolutely.
non-combative,
Yeah.
like type of like it's more of an attitude than it is like
Yeah,
like
things.
like
That's
things.
a great way to
You know what I mean?
describe it.
Because
And
like I don't mind cooking, I don't mind cleaning. I was
Yeah.
doing it before you came.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, are we meshing well together, or is there like combative friction going on? Like the opposite of submission to me is like when I'm talking, you're assuming the worst from the jump, or when I'm saying something like
They're looking at how they can poke holes.
how can they poke holes in the argument?
They're not trying to agree. They're trying to
like
play
and
devil's advocate all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Because I'm not looking for agreement all the time. There's a way to even gently explain that, like, look, I respectfully don't agree with what you're saying, and this is why. But then it comes from a place of, like, still, like, believing in that person, still coming from a place of love, versus, like, you already know how it go, bro.
Yeah.
Nigga, blah, blah, it's out of pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It can get out of pocket. So I'm just like, I think that, bro, I think granted, I do see what you're saying. Like as far as you're saying, you don't want a girl who's submissive. Being that you're saying that, thinking that you don't need a girl who like just is
It's not
at
that
your
I
beck
don't
and
want.
call.
Yeah, like
but at the same time,
I don't have too much demand.
But what if you were with a girl who's combative? Like,
No,
what if,
yeah, exactly. So that,
All right, so let's
I
unpack
don't want
it.
someone
Let's
combative.
unpack it a
That's
little
actually
bit.
a huge thing. I don't want someone combative, and I find it really problematic if someone is, because like I said, I don't see myself to be a type A dominant personality with strong opinions about how I want things to happen every day. Like, I'm very easygoing. So as an easygoing person, there's no reason for a girl to be combative. And
But
if
the
she-
only thing you do there is you open that door for her to take on that dominant role.
But what am I? I don't look
Because
at.
somebody
I
has
don't
to
look
lead.
at that.
Somebody has to lead. You're looking for a partnership.
Yeah.
Somebody has to lead. And are you
I
okay?
but
think-
what is leadership really?
I think
what
you-
is leadership really? Right?
Leading
Because-
is knowing
because-
what areas to lead in. As a man, right? I might be, for example, you say coming from the perspective you said as a provider, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can think of an example of an uncle I had where the husband was the provider, but the wife managed the finances in a very detailed, responsible manner, like better as high level as an accountant. Like, so as much as she was more financially literate, more financially savvy, more financially responsible. So although he was the breadwinner, he knew he had absolute trust in his wife to the point they didn't have separate bank account, because he knows the way our finances are going to be managed is very responsibly, to the degree that I could only want them to be managed. So it's like, he's still being a leader in his household. He's being a breadwinner, but he's not managing his finances. And that's okay. He let her lead in the finance category, although he led in the earning category.
And that's why I was saying, like, what is leadership? Because I think, like, it doesn't always express itself in the way where it's like macho man. You know what I mean? Like, it's sometimes it's like that example that you
like
gave.
She's saying what the budget should be.
Might be like saying, hey, this is the advised budget. This is that. And yeah, like you could. I mean, a type A personality might say, well, I delegated her to do that. But at the same time, you know,
or I can spend
No, that's
what I want.
complimentary.
Like,
I mean, that's kind of like my version of submissiveness, where it's complimentary. You know, that's not your strong point. So she is taking responsibility and the accountability to go manage the finances.
But I do think in that same example, right? Let's say that girl who's the wife who's managing the finances. There's a couple different ways she could go about it, right? In managing the finances, she could say, "Look, you spending too much bread. You blah blah blah, and you. Give me that card. Give me that credit card.
Yeah.
Or she could say, "Hey, babe, look, I'm looking at our expenses right now, and it looks like we're going a little too heavy over here."
Yeah.
So I think it's the attitude more than you see what I'm saying?
That's a good point. It is attitude. There's a lot of nuance to it that, like, kind of, it really, like, submissiveness has a lot of nuance, and I don't know if we're coming off clear to everybody about what that really is. But I think you actually had the best version of it just now.
Yeah.
Because you can get to one goal where a wife is handling the finances, but it's how that plays out, how that actually happened.
Yeah.
There could be an attitude to where, like, she feels like she's dominant, she wants to take over because you're not handling it right. Or, hey, babe, I've seen this, and I think this is an area we can improve.
Right. Like I heard somebody define submission as like being under like someone's mission.
Right.
Meaning, like, so if you're in a marriage, you want the two of you guys to like have the same mission. You both want to have the same end goal.
Yeah.
So if you both have the same end goal, then there's no need to fight within the union, because you just you got to work things out and deal with stuff, but there's no need to combat against each other, because you're both fighting for the wellness of, like, you're both gaining from fighting for the same goal. Like, I think relationships where, you know, there might be different end goals is where things get sticky, but if you're both fighting for the same goal, then I think that, like, the woman could position herself in a way where it's like, look, the buck may stop with you, though. And I think that's where it gets like it's not type A or whatever, but it's like, at the end of the day, the buck stops somewhere.
I think
at the end of the day,
submission is almost flexibility.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the biggest thing. Like, the longer you're with someone, there's going to be, like, big life decisions you have to make with that person. And, like, timeline of those decisions is always going to play a big role. The longer you're with someone, you're going to make large, decisions that have vast effects over the both of y'all lives, right? And me knowing that I'm someone that's going to be flexible, I need a partner that's going to be flexible. I'm not saying I need a partner who's going to take on what I say. If I say I want to go 100 and they say they want to go 0, that's not going to work. But I need someone who can meet me in the middle, though. I need someone who can be flexible. I think that's the biggest thing. And not be flexible in a way that they're putting it in your face that they're flexible. They're being flexible with an attitude. They're not solution oriented.
I can tell you right now, you don't want a girl who's not submissive though. But what you're explaining is this. I think we're all saying the same thing though.
I don't know. I don't think we're saying the same thing.
So okay,
I think
there's difference in personalities. I think you may be more of a guy who's like, look, this is what it is what it's not type of guy.
No, I mean that to a certain point. Right. I'm very I'm reasonable.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I am the head of household, and I will take that responsibility. And I do it in construction all the time. I make decisions. It might not be the best decision, but it's my decision. And I feel like I am open enough to where if it's, I'm struggling to find an actual situation, but at the end of the day, I'm always going to take my wife's opinions seriously, and we'll talk about it. And there might be times where I say, okay, babe, that's the right decision. Or no, I think my decision is better. And that's how we're going to go. And at the end of the day, the way that I see the submissive playing out is she understanding that, hey, I got the call. Now, that might be toxic to some. I don't think it's toxic.
No, I don't think it's toxic. I just think that I think to Justin's point, I think Justin's kind of saying similar things. I just think that, let's say there were an area where she may lead in the expertise on. Then I think it doesn't look as your strategy is leading the way all the time.
Yeah.
And I think that's maybe what you're saying. You're saying, look, if there's an area where, and I think men, we do this though. The typical bro way of explaining it is, she decided on the way that the house is gonna look.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? But I think outside of the context of decoration, there's other areas where you have to admit, oh dang, she's better at me at this.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, I think what you're explaining is, look, if somebody comes in this house and robs this house, or if we go bankrupt as a family, or if something happens to the kids or anything, people are gonna look at you first. And I think
I'll bear that burden.
Yeah, and I think what you're explaining is you're taking those bullets up front and you're leading from the front. So I get what you're saying, and I get what you're saying too. And I think that's what I'm saying. I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah. It's on the spectrum.
I think he's type A. I'm type B plus. You feel me?
Yeah,
B plus. Don't do that. Don't do
yourself like that. That's crazy.
So have you dated someone submissive? Mm-hmm. That's my big thing. It seems like you have a very clear-cut understanding of what submission looks like and feels like for you. Yeah. What was that experience? I want you to tell me the dynamic. It could be a girl you dated. It could be a girl you were in a relationship with. It could be a girl you just kicked it with for 2 days. But I want to know a situation in detail where you're like, dang, that submission was there.
Yeah, I dated girls who were submissive, but there was one that actually caught me by surprise. I mean, you could call her an Instagram girl, a bunch of followers and all that stuff. And we could talk about social media. I don't know if we're even getting there.
Oh, we're getting there. It's on the dock.
So I'll say that for later. But 180 from what she seems online is who she was in person. And Christian girl, but when we were together, it was just only thing she wanted to do was cater to me. And when you truly experience that, like a woman who wants to cater,
That's beautiful. That sounds amazing.
It's unbelievable.
It's
I mean,
basically once you got that experience, you said there's no going back.
Yeah,
I'm not settling for less than
the
wife.
the gold standard.
Beyonce, I'm gonna cater to you, boy.
The
like,
gold standard is there, and
Okay.
it could be just random things. Like I'm the type of guy you talked about it. I'm the type of guy I don't want to bring my work home. I don't want to talk about work going home. I might talk a little bit about it, but I'm not going to get into the minutia of all the stress that I went through on that day. Like me and my girl, when we're together, let's just have a good time. Let's just enjoy each other's company. If you're dealing with stress, if my woman is dealing with stress, you can. I'm all ears. You can put that on me, but I'm not
really
going to put.
And see, this
it
is where I see
No.
the distinction.
No.
We said it
So,
earlier,
hold on.
but he said I sound like I'm looking for a partner, and he's looking for someone to submit. We're just different balls.
So like the wah 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 wah. So I had a situation where my girl, she wasn't happy at work. We talked about it. I bounced some ideas off of her. Ultimately, it just wasn't getting better. And my response was, babe, like you don't need to work there. If you're having stress, like if you're coming back and you're unhappy, like we'll figure it out. Like if you want to do something else, do that. But like I don't want you to come home frustrated, emotional, tired, and all that stuff from work and not have a good time with me, because that all will translate. If you don't have a good work-life balance, like a good work
I know work-life balance.
yeah, work-life balance, then all that kind of flows into your relationship. And I don't want my woman to feel like she has to be in a situation where she doesn't like it. So in that situation, it was the bills are taken care of. Don't worry about that. Do something you actually want to do.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that though.
No, but I think you would do something like that too, right?
I do that for my wife, not a girlfriend.
Well, and I think you're probably saying that because that decision that of maybe telling her don't work, then inadvertently makes you responsible
To cover the bills.
or maybe
Well,
maybe more responsible for her in general.
Well, I'm
like
not.
she can blame you for
I'm
like,
really not
her
big
life not
on
going well.
moving in with a significant other unless, and I think this is a good discussion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really believe that you should even live with your significant other until you know you're kind of about to get engaged. I'm not saying you're getting engaged tomorrow, but I'm not moving in with someone that I'm not making plans to go ring shopping with. And I think that's society's problem right now. I think people our age, we have dealt with an economy that's much more expensive than our parents' generation, our aunt and uncle's generation. And with that being said, people to be in a relationship for 1 year, 6 months, quickest thing they're all trying to do is move in together, right? And then that creates financial codependency. I'm not trying to be I don't believe in being financially codependent.
And you would never put yourself in
with
a
a partner. I
situation
just
where you're
don't believe in it.
codependent
Like, I know too many people that
because you're A-type.
I feel like too many couples that I know, and you know, I might ruffle some feathers here. I know too many couples out here that are living with each other because they're financially codependent. They both can't provide themselves with the quality of life they want independently, so they live with their partner so that they can get that quality of life by living with their partner, right?
So
that's cool. But to me, that is not good for dating because it's created a standard where girls think that, oh, if I don't live with my boyfriend, then there's something wrong with our relationship. Our relationship is not going in the right direction because we don't live together. And whenever I hear that girl say that, I think to myself, do you look at who all lives together? None of them can afford to live alone, not to be rude. And me being someone that I could stand on my own 10, and I'm only dating women that I know can stand on their own 10, we don't need to be moving until we really, 12 to 15 months from getting engaged is my perspective.
No,
Can I jump in real quick?
Go ahead.
So do you feel like a woman standing on her own 10 toes down financially, is that a deal breaker for you? Like if she's not?
This is. And people go look at me crazy, but I'm not dating a girl that can't stand on her own 10 toes financially. No.
All right, yeah, you got it all wrong.
No,
You got it all wrong.
No, I'm
Because
not. But look at this.
You understand what that.
I want my wife to be a stay-at-home wife. I do feel like my career.
You want an executive wife?
No, I don't. But I want. It
But
says
that's
a
what you're
lot
saying.
about
in
her.
Southern California, in order for somebody to be successful and live on their own, you have to be an executive wife.
I mean, no, you don't. You just gotta be able to hold it down for yourself.
How much do you got to make?
To live on your own in California?
Yeah,
So no roommate.
no roommate.
In California, you gotta make a bare minimum. In Southern California, $100K.
You can, I think.
Maybe you can squeeze it 80.
80.
You have to.
You can squeeze an 80.
80 is the absolute bare. 75 would be the absolute bare minimum.
75 pushing it.
Yeah, 75. You're struggling to live alone, but you can. You might be able to find a studio, give or take.
Yeah.
You can make it work. I think an ideal amount is probably about 110. But I also don't. I wouldn't say a girl is not standing 10 toes if she has a roommate.
That's
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
That's definitely 5 toes.
The clarification is needed.
No,
so like
because
the
I'm
roommate.
saying, look, a girl could be living in a luxury apartment, right? A luxury apartment on average in California is about to run you about $3,700, right? So that means she's paying $1,800 to $2,000 a month, right? She could probably go get a studio for $1,800 to $2,000 a month too. So it's like, but that studio wouldn't be the same quality as having a roommate. So that's what I'm saying. There's nuances to it.
So do you hold value to what a woman does for her profession?
Yes, I think because I was raised in a household with a very successful mother. I was raised by a lot of very successful women. I mean, I appreciate when a woman, has, because, they put hard work in. I see my mother be the most domestic, cook, clean, and
Trigger words.
And make great salary. You feel me? I've seen my aunt be super submissive and be the breadwinner. Like, so I don't think that I come from just a house, so I don't look down upon girls that don't have good. Have back.
What would you say
careers.
to that? What would you say to that? Like, do you care
I don't care what she does.
at all?
Okay.
Because
I got it. We're not gonna take it to sex work.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
not
We
gonna
gonna
take
get
it
to the
sex work.
OnlyFans too. That's on the
I'm
docket.
not gonna take it to sex work. I'm gonna just tell you how I personally would feel, right? If you're 28 years old, right, and you're let's say you're a server / bartender. I'm not saying you're a bartender at no strip club or you're a bottle girl. I'm not saying that, because those have different connotations. I'm just saying, like, you might be just a bartender at a nice restaurant, a bartender at a nice lounge. You're not associating it with no promiscuity at all, right?
Yeah.
And she's 28, 29. That girl is not going to be attractive to me, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, at 28 to 29, if you don't find a partner, you really can't. You can't provide for a family. You couldn't.
But I'm not looking for a woman to provide.
But I'm looking for a woman that can instill hard work and good values into my kid. As a
man, that's what you should be doing.
No, your woman plays just as much part. If you're out here working, she's spending all of the time with your children.
No, so like I personally, I don't care what a woman does.
That's a crazy statement, bro.
Outside
of sex work.
Outside of sex work.
Yeah.
But like, if a girl is a bartender and she ticks off every other box, I'm fine with that. Like, I'd rather have that girl than the girl who's a lawyer that doesn't tick the boxes that are important to me and be in a relationship with her.
I agree with that.
All right, so
But that's the framework I'm working in.
Let me interject. So I think that, like, for me, right, when I think about these conversations of like what a woman does, what I look at is what's attracted to me is how you pursue your life passions, right? So I don't care what your passions are.
That's important.
If your passion is being a mother, if your passion is being a lawyer, if your passion is helping the community, whatever your passion is,
Can you be passionate about being a mother before you have children?
I think so.
Yeah.
So you could just tell somebody,
That's the girl I look for.
I'm passionate about. I think all girls are passionate about being mothers.
No.
Okay.
There's a lot of women who don't
Well,
want
passion and the excellence that you pursue that passion are two different things. I think every woman is prepared to be a mother and will love their children. But I'm talking about That's why I specifically said what I'm attracted to is identifying what your passions are and then the excellence at which you pursue that.
So can you be an excellent at age? Let's say our age range, 26 to 30. So you're a grown adult woman. You're far outside of college age. Mm-hmm. And she told you she was passionate about serving drinks.
I'm good with that.
If she could spin it right, if she could make it make sense, I'm trying to tell you, if she was she was nice with it. If she was nice with it, like
y'all not looking at the long game here.
Well, I'm looking at the long game.
All right.
Look, because at the end of the day, the long game, if we're talking long game, is happiness in life, right?
Exactly.
So if you spinning those drinks and you talk about like the way I took the Hennessy and mixed it with the blah 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 and spun it with the
as a Christian, you're a woman that is passionate about alcohol.
It'd be a little interesting. But if she could, if it could be spun where it's like, dang, like, whoa, she really is just dumb passionate.
I said she's trying to open her own bar, her own restaurant, come out with her own line.
And that's what excellence.
She's passionate about being a bartender.
That can happen, but as a man, you might need to identify that and actually get her to that point.
And that's
you're not listening to me. You're not listening to me. What do you think? I'm talking about financially funding this whole plan?
I think that there's a level to like projects on women, right? And
but you're
touching on some things where it's like technically you could take any woman and be like, all right, like let's get this right. You know what I mean? So like
I'm not thinking projects.
There needs to be a certain level of like self-starterness in you though that I'm attracted personally. Right. Everybody's different. If you tell me, that's why I said the excellence at which you pursue those passions. Because if you got a passion. Because, bro, you already know how it becomes you pursuing your girl's passion for her.
For example,
what if a girl's working at a nonprofit?
Yeah, I love it.
Making $60,000.
I don't care about the money.
Exactly, and that's all where I'm getting to.
The money don't matter.
The girl that teaches the soul cycle class, the girl that runs the yoga class, and she's super passionate about health and fitness. Mm-hmm. That's okay.
But then you tainted the bartender as
something
you can throw away.
I don't know a single girl who's passionate about serving drinks first off. So this example is not realistic.
But there's a bad girl that you will meet.
Maybe the bartender isn't the best analogy.
Yeah, this bartender example is trash.
But I would not say, oh, you're a bartender, you're chalk.
If she called her I wouldn't either. If she called her a mixologist and was like, no, really, I'm on this.
I would actually see through that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would still say, no, you're a bartender. Yeah. I would say you're a bartender. I would see through it.
But you're not going to spin me either, though. You're not going to come to me and say, yeah, I'm passionate about bartending. But then when I pull up to the bar, it's some craziness going on. Like, you at the local. Hold on, what's going on?
No, yeah.
Well, you're not letting that happen either.
No, I think these clarifications are important.
Nah.
But exactly. what I'm trying to boil it all down to is a woman's profession does not hold as much weight to me as I feel as most guys. So like,
for me, it's a little different.
Yeah, you want to have a passion, right? And maybe she's a bartender, but that's not her true passion. And you guys can work it out and understand those things. And as somebody in a relationship, you should be able to compliment your spouse and put them in the best position that they can be in.
That's 100%.
And I'm not talking about
education speaks to character. That's why I place a value on it.
But
I don't need my girl to work. I would love for me to be able to provide and her to be a stay-at-home mother, right? But I feel like if she told me, hey, I had got a degree in finance from undergrad. I worked in corporate America for a few years. Then I started working for a nonprofit. I really want to start a family and be a stay-at-home mother. I would look at that and I would be like, well, I know that you're educated, so once education is going to be just as much as a value for our children as it is for you, because you valued education, which is something important to me. And although you pursued a career and that's not something you want to do, you understand that we live in a world that requires financial means to provide for yourself, and you're able to do it if you have to, and you'll be able to instill those values in our kids.
Yeah, but I just don't want to paint the broad brush that if you didn't go to school, you're not intelligent. Because I've met a lot of women who went to school who are dumb as bricks.
I would love a beautician. A beautician, right? That's got her own. Bro, that's very impressive.
But this is why, like, I've tried to summarize it as the excellence at which you pursue your passions. Because I agree with you. School is not. There's girls who are super educated and just kind of like,
and don't do anything with that.
And don't do anything with the degree.
Mom and dad's money.
Exactly. And then there's girls who weren't educated but are millionaires, billionaires.
Yeah.
So like at the end of the day, like I think the excellence at which you pursue your passions is a telltale sign on like who you are and like what and how you contribute to like what you care about, right? And indirectly how you might contribute to your marriage. Right? If before I met you, you were passionate about motherhood, but you're not doing anything to align yourself in that way. When you get in a marriage that you're so quote unquote passionate about, how will you pursue that marriage? You might just be you want some. So I think that kind of is a, at least for where I'm at now, the easiest way I've been able to summarize. Like, I think the merge between both what both of y'all are saying.
Yeah. No, I do value what you're saying as far as like.
Because there's middle on both. There's middle ground on both.
And I'm not saying any girl who's educated, I'm chalking up. Like that's great. That's just a plus. That's just a plus.
And you're not accepting a girl just because she has a degree, and you're not denying a girl who doesn't have one. So that's what So we, I mean, all right, so cool. We on the same page.
But I think, like you said, it's the passion behind what you do. Like, you got to figure out, and as a human being, you should be passionate about something.
Something, bro. Something. Because that's who you are. Because what ends up happening is if you're not passionate about, like, let's say, anything that's specific, you end up becoming like an NPC type of person. Like, nobody wants somebody who's just like, you're just on the gram all day, like just on the hot topics, or not even really contributing to the world. Like you want, you
don't want anyone living day to day.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there's a lot of people, and that's why I think bartending might have been not a good or bad example. I think there's plenty of people who have means to allow them to live day to day. Like you could make, $10,000 a month, but if it's something. Or a girl could make $4,000 a month, right? The girl making $4,000 a month could tell me, I started my own custom jewelry line. That trade I taught myself. I make $2,000-$3,000 a month. It's what I'm passionate about. I'm building this business, right? Then you have the girl that I'm a bottle girl, and I say she's staying a bottle girl. I'm not associating bottle girls with sex work, but she's making $10K a month. It's not the money. It's the you can't be passionate about.
I take that girl who's making who's in the red. I take a girl who's in the red, super passionate about what you just described. Over a millionaire girl who's like inherited it and not passionate about anything. Like
the inherited one is different though.
Because it's all about that long game though.
I don't care. But that's what I'm saying.
Because like money isn't going to be the root of happiness to that relationship.
Exactly.
I think
because that millionaire girl, that's a perfect example of a girl you might inherit. You with her, but you don't like her.
Exactly.
That's a perfect situation.
And I think pursuing your passions with excellence is great. And look, I'm not gonna lie. Once I become your passion, excellence comes my way as well. You know what I mean?
Well, that's how it should be.
And you're gonna get excellence right back. All right. So then we got another clip here though, because we got a couple other things to touch on. So this is from your boy Tyler Perry. You know what I mean? Medea himself. Hold on.
Listen, a lot of women, especially black women, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I will. In our society right now, black women are making a lot more money for the most part than black men, right? There are a lot of black men who are successful, but for the most part, black women are making the money. So if you can find love, if that man works, at whatever job, and is a good man, and is good to you, and honors the house, and honors his wife, and does what he can, because his gift may not be your gift.
Exactly.
That is okay. That's not somebody who's beneath you. That's somebody who came to love you at your worth, right?
Yes.
And as long as he's secure in himself to know that, yep, she makes most of the money, all I can pay is the light bill, as long as she's comfortable enough to say, I'm going to cover the mortgage.
He took it too far with the light bill.
Baby.
You can pause here, bro. He took it too far, bro.
That's fine.
The light bill, dog.
But that's so hard for a lot of people to take in because that
he lost me.
No. I need somebody who is.
He can't even take it serious. He's laughing
more, and I got to have. Go on, keep your list, baby.
Yeah.
God bless you. Hope it happens. Go on, keep your list. But when you talk about just someone to love you and support you, I know people who whose men can't touch what they make. But when you see them together, that
thoughts.
love, that
If he can't afford to pay a light bill, baby, he ain't for it.
Yeah. Ladies, if you're with a man who can only pay a light bill, you should run for the hills. So, no, I mean, I totally disagree. I mean, I think roundabout what he was trying to get at is like being comfortable as a man in a situation where a woman makes more money and she's the bread maker, and like understanding that she's like taking care of you out of love and all that stuff. But that's all great to hear. But I think as a man, you should be 10 toes down without a woman. And if she makes more money than you, that's fine. That shouldn't affect you. But as long as you know that you can provide for yourself, that's all that matters. You need to get to that point before you start getting into relationships and like looking for the next step.
Yeah, because I think my thing too is, even in my marriage, I think it's okay if your woman makes more than you, right? We all are successful men here, right?
Yeah.
We say we came across a girl that she was a doctor, right? And let's say she's a doctor that works a set schedule. She's not always on call. She's set schedule doctor. She's works about 3-4 days out the week, like most doctors, right? I'm okay with that, right? Would I let her pay more than most of the bills? No. I'd probably still stop it at 50%, even as she's a doctor, right?
All right.
I think, and that's what I can say. I can accept someone making more than me, but I wouldn't. I would still do my part as a man to at least hold down 50% of the fort.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I do think that I do think that most men, if you're making, I don't know what the lowest salary. Like, let's say you're making $50,000 a year, $30,000, something crazy.
The average.
McDonald's.
Let's put some numbers on it.
The
right?
average is like
Let's put some
45.
numbers on it, right?
Okay.
We're gonna put some numbers on it, right?
Okay.
We're gonna say you're thinking about having kids. This is your wifey. This ain't just the girl you're dating. This is wifey. Okay. Right?
Okay.
She is making $250,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
That's not crazy, but
It's
that's solid.
crazy.
That's not crazy. That's solid.
Okay.
Right? As a man, how much would you say as a man to be dating a woman making $250? How much would you say you should at least be bringing to the table?
Well, you talk about me personally.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about just your average guy. You say, bro, you just met a girl making a $250K salary.
Uh-huh.
Would you tell a guy making $50K a year he could legitimately build with her?
It depends.
He can
if you
hold
read
his
my
weight.
real answer, it depends. It depends. And this is what I'll say.
What? No, put a number on it. I want to hear a number.
The numbers
No,
depend
I
on the
want to
dynamics.
We all said paying the light bill is not enough. How much would you say as a man to just even be thinking about really
I just want to introduce some
holding
dynamics.
a family down?
I want to introduce some dynamics to you.
We're venturing off into conversations that I really feel like we need to be on eggshells, because right now we are we're working in that framework of a guy who is making $45,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Isn't
a
that the
dangerous
average guy.
That's the average
guy
income of
makes 50K?
yeah. No, the average salary of a man is about 45.
Oh wow.
As a man, you should be able to fend for your own, have everything set up for yourself. At that point, fine. Whatever she makes is that's on her. But like, you don't want to be in a position as a man to be codependent on a woman's
You don't want to be in that position.
Situation.
Yes, I would never put myself in that position. But if I'm a girl and I'm not like,
I think a woman starts to lose respect for you too if she feels like, if I'm not with him, he can't stay afloat.
That's kind of that's the territory you start venturing out to when you talk about these women who make.
But see, I think you got to be realistic though. Okay, first of all,
I think a woman, if you're holding your own as a man, a high value man, I don't think it matters how much. Like, I think Taylor Swift is making more than Travis Kelce. It's okay.
But to be honest,
okay.
that example just gets on my nerves because it's not a real life example. Like, Rihanna got with A$AP Rocky, and A$AP Rocky, it makes less than Rihanna. Like, they're two millionaires.
The plumber who's making $65,000-$80,000 and the RN that's making $150,000.
Wait, say it again.
The plumber making $65,000-$80,000 on a great year.
Right.
versus the RN making $150
I
to
think
$200.
plumbers make more money than you think, though.
Yeah, plumbers are getting to the
I
bag.
said
low-key.
80.
Also, UPS drivers, but
Ah.
but let's say the plumber's getting 50 and the
I said 65.
Oh, okay, 65.
Yeah, he can provide for himself.
65,
like
and then the
RN.
RN nurse is getting how much?
150.
150.
My average for a nurse.
If they both like each other a lot and they can make it work, I say make it work.
Yeah.
I do too. But
Because
I think he's
first
covering
of
more than a light bill, though.
all, one thing you have to accept
He's
too.
still covering more than a
One
light
thing
bill.
you have to accept, right, is everybody's not an entrepreneur and everybody's not super ambitious, right? Like if you're an entrepreneur, you need employees. If you're an entrepreneur, you need employees. Every employee can't be. You see what I'm saying? So there's people in this world who will live a happy life, not necessarily ever pursuing the pursuits of being a millionaire, but could have a union that could make them happy.
Yeah.
So if you could have I'm saying, so like
Yeah, he
when
could
you
be-
look at the big picture,
could
what
be
he's
into health
saying,
and
it
fitness,
makes
she
sense.
could be into health and
I
fitness,
agree
that's
with
what
Tyler
I'm
Perry the whole time. I agree
No,
with him.
he
You're
said
wild.
No,
You're
because
wild.
you can pay
okay,
a light bill
You're wild.
only.
you can live. All right,
Only
You're
you
wild.
can
light
get
bill.
lost in the light bill. You
The
can
light
get,
bill's telling
all
you
right, the
basic
light bill's out of
minimum
pocket.
wage.
The light bill's out of pocket, but you can get lost in the light bill. But it's not about the light bill. It's you can see the big picture he's trying to paint. The big picture he's trying to paint is basically saying, "Yo, look, if you a girl who's super ambitious, and you probably been struggling finding a dude for a long time, most likely, and then you run across a dude who really likes you a lot, first of all, your bills already getting handled. You really don't need a dude to handle your bills. You're
Yeah.
handling them.
Now,
You may want a dude to handle your bills, but you don't. Well, if you have kids, it can get sticky.
You
But-
want a dude that can't pay for your dinner on your birthday?
60. See, the example we had, we said a plumber's making 65, RN who's making 150. That plumber could save enough money to pay for a dinner,
Yeah.
and he can still feel like a man.
can I say for a woman, if she does find a good man that makes the $60,000 or whatever, and she's the breadwinner, but he ticks off all the boxes that she needs, great, go for it.
But
what I'm saying for the men out there
yeah,
is that you need to be in a position where you can stand 10 toes on your own financially before you even start
that's a great
getting
message
into
to
these
preach.
serious
and that's
situations.
what we'd all tell all young men. But I'm just
But
talking
I
about
don't want that to get lost.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because right now we're talking we're saying big picture. It's okay for you to be the bull who
I
just
wouldn't want to
pay the light bill.
I would not want to be that guy paying the light bill.
Yeah,
And I never will.
And you shouldn't be okay with it. If you can only pay the light bill and you come across love, don't let that stop you from the journey that love is gonna take you
Yeah.
on. But at the point that you can barely pay the light bill, you don't need to be prioritizing love. You need to be prioritizing building yourself up, mind, body, and spirit.
Would you consider yourselves controlling? Let me start there. Would you guys consider yourself controlling?
Not at all.
no.
Now, okay, so you both said you wouldn't consider yourselves controlling, but would a girl consider you guys controlling?
No.
No.
Okay, so now let's get into specifics. So your girl has an Instagram account. She decides she went to the beach, bathing suit, had that thong on, and decided to, have it poking out for the picture on the gram. How y'all feeling? Honesty.
I think my opinion changed on this a lot over the last maybe year and a half.
Is she at the beach? I think is she at the beach?
There-
Is she posing to show off that particular asset, or is she
Don't
in
come
her-
here-
in the
you
natural environment?
You PG with it right now.
Is she showing off the cheeks or not?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
exactly.
different if the cheeks
Yeah,
are
yeah.
out, but is she showing the cheeks off?
She's showing them
If
off,
the
bro.
cheeks
How
are
can
out,
you not
I don't
show
got
them
a
off if
problem.
the cheeks is out?
There's a
No,
there's a difference. There's a difference
from
of
showing
of
off the cheeks and having
of a
the cheeks
tasteful
out.
picture and a thirst trap.
Exactly.
Right?
You just said
So,
it.
like, you can't
repeat what you just said.
There's a difference between a tasteful picture and a thirst trap. I can't be with a girl who's posting thirst traps because that just opens the door. And even though I can be as confident as I am in our relationship, I don't want my girl to be putting herself out there to be like she's open for the world. But we all understand, without getting into minutia and the particulars, what a thirst trap is versus a tasteful picture.
Okay, so you guys are not okay with the thirst traps.
I'm not okay
Why
with the
would my
thirst
girl
trap.
be taking thirst traps?
But I'm okay with the thong bikini because that is a style. But I'm not okay with thirst trap pictures in a thong bikini. And
But
women know
honestly,
what thirst traps are. Women know what tasteful
What is
pictures
so okay?
are.
Oh, so then how are y'all handling it? If like you say yo, so wait, so okay, so you with your girl locked in for 2 years, she dropped what you consider as a thirst trap. What are y'all doing?
No, so it definitely warrants a conversation. You need to have the conversation. Hey, like, what you're doing is not making me comfortable. That should be the end of conversation. If a woman isn't willing to change things like that, then she ain't the one for you. Because if you were doing something uncomfortable for her, I would expect you as a man in a relationship to change those things as well. Now, you can't paint it with a broad brush, but there are rules to this game that needs to be abided by. And if there's a situation, especially like thirst traps and all that stuff, like if you're not comfortable with
Have
it,
you had that conversation before?
No, I haven't. But like I
that
said,
conversation is never.
But like I said,
discussion,
but like I said, so
that conversation is never ended.
So I was overly confident at a fault.
What do you mean?
Meaning that like I didn't care. Over the last couple of years, like I said, I changed my opinion on it. Before, I was overly confident. Like, I feel like, yeah, you can go to the club. You can go take these pictures. I didn't care because I believed she knew where home was. Right? Now, my opinion is that you do not open yourself up for those type of interactions. Like, a girl who's taking thirst traps, they're getting 20, 30, 50 dudes in their DMs.
Yeah.
Facts.
Oh,
Off the picture.
And so,
Facts.
okay. I have my opinion, but Justin, I want to hear yours. So if let's say you're in a relationship and she does throw a picture up that you would consider a thirst trap, how are you handling that situation?
I think I'm letting her know how I feel, and I'm letting her know that it's my expectation that it won't be happening any longer.
All right. So okay, cool. So then let's say y'all say that because y'all clearly never had this convo. I've had this convo. So let's say you have the convo, and then it's like, okay, this ain't even that deep. Girls throw these pics up all the time.
It's done now.
It's done?
It's done.
The relationship, 2 years.
Bro, so like where
Done.
I'm at in life.
Yeah.
So like these are things that are non-negotiables,
Right.
right? Vice versa. If I was doing something that she wasn't comfortable with, then I would have to correct it on my own.
Or it's done on her part.
We're in a relationship, so there's rules of engagement, right? And your objective is to make the person that you're with comfortable. Like you shouldn't be doing anything that is out of pocket for your spouse. And if you disregard that, then vice versa, you shouldn't be with them, and they shouldn't be with you.
I need a girl to have enough emotional intelligence to value her relationship more than
Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. He knows what's going on. You don't.
Hey, man,
Nah.
still student of the game, you know what I mean?
No, so yeah, I mean it's like this shouldn't even be too long of a discussion. Like if a girl doing like you got to really understand why. Why are you doing this?
Honestly,
and if you can even like if you play devil's advocate, right? What could be a possible reason as to why?
And she told me she had a bathing suit line. I'd be like, okay, you could definitely need to post pics in the bathing suit. You definitely need to show the cut of the bathing suit.
What
your audience wants to see it.
So what's
but
the
you don't-
intention
but
behind
you
the
can
pic?
take the tasteful
yeah, what,
picture.
like
What's the intention?
if you ask her like legitimately like why are you taking these pics?
When you're single, you do sell yourself. But when you're off the market, do you still have to sell yourself? So I think there is a little bit of like gray area. If that was the girl's brand, and that's just her brand, one thing. But if she was doing that because she was single, now that she's with you,
yeah,
she might. What's the need for?
There's no purpose behind it.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Because, bro, if we're being real, some people really will like, while in a relationship, still continue to market themselves just to increase their marketability.
Exactly.
So when they break up, it's still up
The
for
biggest
them.
example is we all know who Brittany Renner is, and we probably all have our opinions on her.
Who is
But she
that?
said She's
one of the IG models.
An IG model who had a child with an NBA player. She even said that when she was dating PJ Washington, she specifically said if you pay attention to that time period, she thought they were gonna get married. She thought they were gonna have a nuclear family. She stopped posting those pictures. So to me, if even the self-proclaimed Instagram girl, selling that lifestyle, had enough emotional intelligence to know it wasn't acceptable if she was trying to build a nuclear family, then no girl can justify doing that.
She's saying anything though.
So then what about parties, right? So if your girls so let's say you're in a relationship. What's the feel on the function? So like,
Go out, have fun.
Okay, how you feel?
Go out, have fun, but there are limits. Like
how frequently
you can't be out every weekend. Like, yeah, you can go out on a girl's night out, but it's going to be once in a blue moon.
Right.
See, my thing with that, I don't think it has to be like once in a blue moon, but I think it becomes an issue if it's apparent that your girl is more excited to go out than she is to spend with you. If it feels like frequency of her going out and her having fun is more frequent than like her wanting to spend time with you, that's a problem. Because I personally never have ran into that issue, because most times, even if a girl wants to go out with her friends a lot, she 9 times out of 10 wants to spend more time on the weekend with her man than she wants to spend in the club.
Yeah.
Because if she wanted to still spend that time outside, she should want to be single then.
Yeah.
Because, right, dating is a part of your social life. Clubbing is a part of your social life, right?
Yeah.
So if your social life is surrounded around turning up, unless you're significant other, that's a problem.
Yeah. No,
or I think another time is some people like to go out. Like sometimes you'll have a significant other that always wants to be in the club, but she wants you to be right next to her in the club.
Yeah. I mean,
I also don't really rock with that because I don't want to be in the club myself.
What is your take on it?
So I mean, honestly, I think like I think that you gotta have enough like emotional intelligence to be able to download what a girl cares about. And if her intentions are pure, you can know that.
Yeah.
Like I think like.
Wonder if she's trying to be a socialite, like, cause that's something I wouldn't really be into. She wants to be the girl that in the region she lives in, you see her outside, you know that she's popular. She wants to have a presence in the social area that she lives in.
Then it becomes a decision. But you were able to identify the intentions.
Cause that means she's out cause she wants to be seen and known.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's, to me, at this age, that's a sign of immaturity.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I do, and I do feel you on that too. So I think as a man, you should take the time to try to identify, okay, why is she going out? Yeah. Because sometimes it's inconveniently, there's 4 of my girls who are like my really good girls who had their birthday parties this month. So I had to be out every weekend. Yeah. And then sometimes it's like that one weekend out the whole month was like, I'm tired of this relationship and I want to like express myself with other dudes. You know what I mean? So granted, I've never been in that situation personally, but I'm just saying like you got to be able to identify what like the reason is, and if you have enough like intuitiveness, you can figure that out. But for me,
you're saying you never been in a situation where the girl want to go out?
No, I have, but I think that typically it's kind of like easy to see why she feels that way. And I think like when I get to the why, as long as the why's not out of pocket, I'm cool.
What's an okay why? So hey, I want to like spend time with my girls.
It comes down to who you selected from the jump.
Yeah.
If you select the right girl from the jump, this convo, although it is like something that we all deal with, gets a lot less intensive.
That's why I say if you allow your girl to go out, if you're comfortable with that.
See, and see, not to pause you, but see.
But the allow.
Because the allow, because it's like for me, it's like I want the ideal situation is what you want to do is like what I wanted you to do. Meaning like we agree.
You want a girl aligned with
like we
how much she goes out.
So okay, you're going out, but it's like all right.
We both agree that you ain't been out in a few weeks.
I feel you.
You ain't seen your
I
homies.
feel you.
Yeah.
But I mean, if the allow word is triggering,
I'm not even saying it's triggering. I'm
'Cause is
saying
she
I don't want to
allowing
have to
you
think
to go
about it
out?
that way.
Or
Yeah.
are you going out because you want to?
I want to
Yeah.
support it, like, oh girl. But okay. In conclusion, for the party situation, right? I think that like it comes down to picking the right girl and then also being able to identify her intentions. No.
Yeah, I think.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
then there's also
few times
the playing off you, because if you're outside crazy, she may you sometimes her intention is literally
I'm doing
doing
what
this
he's
because
doing.
you're doing this.
yeah. But
I think most men though, they typically don't go out as much when they get in a
but hold on,
relationship, too.
so for your boys or whatever, like, what's the consensus across the board? Like, are they cool with their girls going out?
Most men are cool with their girls going out because I feel like more often than not they're spending enough time with their girls that they feel like we both could use some time to go do our own things with our friends.
I think
Now
I don't
when
agree
we
with
say
that.
go out, we're talking about clubs. Let's be clear on
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Bars, clubs.
Bar, I don't like the word bar. Sounds too soft.
Yeah.
Bar,
We already know
it's
what's
club.
going on.
It's club.
It's a club. Yeah.
Club hits harder.
Yeah.
It's okay. So then, I think that most dudes are always a little bit like slightly uncomfortable with their girl going to the club.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a frequency that it's okay. And I think as you get older, it slows down, of course. But I do think there's a frequency that's like fine, and then there's just like that red flag of you've been to the club 3 times this month. You've been to the club 3 times.
Three times.
Yeah. I think whenever you do the math,
Crazy.
like this might see if it seems
3
too frequent,
times
it is
in a
too
month?
frequent. If it
It's
seems too
situational.
frequent, it is too frequent.
Yeah, I think too frequent, or
If you
sometimes
have to question
and
the
even just
frequency,
or how
is
she
usually
leaves,
an
like
issue.
how she leaves out, like she go out in the crazy dress. It's like, oh whoa, like why are you working so hard? Intention.
I'm not really tripping off of what a girl
How
wears
she's moving,
as
how early she
much.
comes back.
Yeah.
If it's a nice outfit, but
Yeah, if
I feel
you-
like if you showing something off and it just looks raunchy and tacky,
Yeah.
It don't even matter what she wearing. If she at the crib like just bland, bored, tired, ain't giving you no energy. When y'all get it popping, it's flat line. But then when it's club time,
Yeah, that's crazy.
so what's the conclusion here though? Before we move on,
The conclusion for me, the way the hill that I die on,
Talk to
is that if you're confident, you're comfortable in your situation, allow your girl to go out with her friends, but there has to be parameters that are set between y'all two. Like, she can't want to go out every week with her girls. So, like, whatever that is, whatever makes you comfortable, for me, 1 time a month, maybe twice on a birthday occasion or whatever. I feel like having relationships outside of relationship is good. It's healthy. But if it's overdone, it can be very toxic and it can be detrimental.
And one thing I'll just add on to that is I do think that is something to note though, that like when you're graduating from high school, college life to like adulthood, part of like hanging out with your friends does remain going to parties.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you just grow up and just start sipping wine.
Yeah.
So like part of keeping up with your friends is going out.
Yeah.
So like it's not worth just saying you can't go out.
Right.
But it's happening more than, to me, I think if I had to put a timeline on it, more than once every 3 weeks, which means to me once every 3 weeks means there might be some months where it's, 2 or 3 times, but majority of times it's probably, every 3 weeks
And
or
then
so.
before we go to
because you're going to have date nights on the weekend, right? There shouldn't be more times with her friends than there is date nights with y'all two.
So then, okay, and this is like something that like I'm very curious on because okay, clearly y'all know me, so like you've seen me in my worst, like moving at a high pace.
Most reckless.
When you were moving mature, I was moving crazy, and you kind of see me, in my slight worst.
I actually seen you reckless and simmer down.
Right, but like now I've decided to kind of wait till marriage, but like. Now looking outside of like that decision, right? I'm just curious how y'all feel, right? So like, do you guys have like a sense of guilt? Let's say if you're like having sex before marriage as Christians? Like, let's get into it. What's going on, bro?
I'm not gonna lie. I felt like when I was younger, there used to be a kind of a little bit of sense of guilt when I had sex, but that emotion kind of faded a long time ago. I don't really feel a sense of guilt, but I do feel like I know when I'm like truly like wasting my time though. Like I would feel like if I was in a serious relationship, that sex would be healthy, even though I know by definition God wants us to wait to marriage. I wouldn't feel like I'm doing something wrong if I'm committed to somebody.
If your emotions are genuine.
Yeah, and we're both committed. Now, I do feel a sense of I gotta do better when I'm having casual sex with people that I know that I have no interest in forming any type of bond with.
Yeah. Which is more common than the latter.
No, it is. I feel like a lot of people cap a lot. All of us have been there, especially if we're sexually active, where we're having casual sex with partners that we have no interest in pursuing anything. And to me, some guilt comes there. And to me, once you start doing that over and over, you realize it's unproductive. And I do feel like as I mature, it's something I try to... But I am trying to steer away from.
But you haven't fully steered away from it.
I know. Yeah, it's something I'm still working at, for sure.
Okay. And then, Mace, would you agree with that, or how you feel?
Yeah, I agree. It is always tough. I mean, it's the constant, just like in the back of your mind, like you're trying to be a Christian and you're trying to live this Christian lifestyle, but then the worldly pleasures kind of take over, and it's difficult to navigate. But I would say, it definitely puts a mental toll on me, like whenever I'm sexually active, even if I'm in a relationship or not. I try to I'm very selective of my partners. So that at some certain extent kind of like helped me cope with it. But at the same time, it's tough. Like every time you just know it's not right. And it's something that you kind of like have to work through over, like it's a constant battle. It's tough.
Right. So then I personally, right, like there's like the perspective of just like, okay, if you're dealing with a girl that you know the intentions are right on, right?
Yeah.
We can get into that, but I want to get into the girls where it's like that it ain't even going nowhere, but she look good.
Yeah.
What's stopping y'all from getting to the point of just saying, all right, well, look, all right, like, I'm at least not going to have sex with her because I know, like, I would never wife this girl.
Yeah.
What's stopping it? Is it just in the moment she's just looking too good?
I think, man, realistically, as men, we have testosterone. As men, we want to feel love.
He took it to the biology.
I feel like as men, we have testosterone. As men, we crave to be loved. We like affection, and I think it's very hard to, go long periods of time without having that void felt. And I think and that's why I think, to be honest, it's a sacrifice being celibate. It's not easy, because if it was easy, more people would do it. I think it's difficult because at the end of the day, at some point, those urges and that testosterone kind of feels like that's tipping the scale, and you're not. And it's like hard for you to like.
So for you, it's natural urges.
Yeah, I think it's
literally
natural.
It's just hard to fight.
Yeah, I think,
respectful. Yeah. I feel you too.
Especially if you're outside, like if you're not
and you got girls on you. You know what I mean? Like if you're ugly, whatever, it's like, damn, I don't got no girls on me, whatever. But it's like if you got girls on, it's like, damn, this is right in front of me. I feel you.
And I think that's why you gotta be more selective, like he said. That's the only solution.
If there's no long-term commitment or even the idea of one, then you shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be doing it. Like in general, you shouldn't be doing it. But like,
see, okay,
I think also men put themselves in different chapters in your life, right? So there's a chapter in your life, right, when you're saying, I'm being selective. I'm not even thinking about being intimate with somebody I'm not pursuing. But then there's a time in your life where you feel that the emotions that come with pursuing someone serious, you're not wanting to deal with that, and for the period
You're making it sound
time,
fancy. There's a
want
time.
something casual.
There's a time where you're ready for a relationship, and there's a time where you're not. And when the time when you're not, you still get lonely, and you still get horny. And when you get lonely and when you get horny, what are you doing? And the girls that you with may not be girls that have the potential to be the wifey. And when that's the situation, what I'm talking about, because we started this conversation saying, look, as men, you might as well focus on yourself until you get to the point you're 30 or you're ready to be married. So I'm saying in that in between time, how do you manage the in between is what I'm trying to get into. Like, and I want to get into the why, because I love y'all. I'm a man too. We all dealing with the same struggles, but in the minutia of the real time situation where you got the girl on you that you know you wouldn't wife, but you know she look good and you know you want to have get it popping. What's stopping you from saying, you know what, this ain't?
I think the solution.
But what's stopping you before you get to the solution?
I think what's stopping you is, first of all, if you don't have them at home in your bed, if you keep the dates to play
stay out the kitchen.
to public spaces, I'm saying if you really saying I'm not having sex unless I'm in a committed relationship or a marriage, then there's no place for a woman to be in your bed. To be honest, if you're trying to be celibate. If you're trying not to have
so
sex,
then why do girls still end up in your bed?
I haven't made the decision to be celibate, but God and me are.
So what's stopping you from making that decision?
He looked into the camera,
right? Because he dancing on us right now.
God and me are working on that.
And how's the work going?
It's doing better. I did better today than I did yesterday. Man.
Did you really?
I did a lot better today than I did yesterday.
We'll put the camera over here. That's my man's right here. So same question. So like. We all know the right thing to do. Like, if there's one advice we get from the church, it's, wait till you're married.
Yeah.
What's stopping you from doing it?
I mean, it's really just like giving in. It shouldn't be that way, but when you're able to connect with somebody on that level, right, wrong, or indifferent, it's
hard to fight.
It's hard to fight. And I'm like somebody who like, this is a tough conversation to navigate.
Okay, so then do you see a time where you ever are waiting till marriage, or have you just made a decision where, look, God, I'm following you, but you know what? If I'm being real, this waiting till marriage, I just can't sign up for that.
The only thing I've
keep it real. No.
I'm gonna keep it 100.
I don't want no cap right now,
bro. This is no cap. I'm looking dead in the camera. The only time I'm gonna do it is once I'm engaged and we're doing that little marriage counseling portion before you walk down the aisle.
So you were gonna be celibate for like three months, max.
Yeah, tops. You know when you're doing the marriage,
which is crazy.
Before you walk down the aisle,
Which is crazy.
We're gonna lock in. We're gonna lock in.
Which is crazy.
That's when we're gonna lock in.
Where are you standing on this?
What's the question?
So okay, just be real with yourself.
Are you ever gonna be celibate?
Have you? Are you talking to God saying, you know what? Look, for the rest of my days, I'm gonna rock with you, but this waiting until marriage thing is a little too far. No. Or are you saying? Or do you think there's a chance that you might like? Are you
No, absolutely.
Are you actually trying, or are you just saying, look, the buck stops here? I'm not gonna stop.
No, I've been in relationships where I have been celibate. And I think that, like, if you find a partner that is willing to take that journey with you, that's a beautiful thing. And you're, like, connecting on a different level. Once you connect on a different level outside of sexuality, you can build a really strong foundation. Mm-hmm. And I believe that is probably, like, the intent of that, right? Because, sex is sex. And it dries, like, not that it dries out, but, like, it gets boring over time.
That boy dancing on this question right now. He dancing on this question.
Yeah, he didn't. He didn't answer the question.
He dancing on this question.
Are you ever going to be celibate or not?
Dancing.
I told you my answer.
I would.
During engagement counseling is when we're going to take a break.
Right now, in your life, if you're being honest with yourself, are you genuinely trying to wait till marriage, or are you telling yourself, you know what?
All right, the question is very trapping. But at this point in my life, where I'm at right now, no.
Why not?
I mean, the reason's obvious, right?
No, it's not. And I want to get into the minutia because
that connection with somebody is like, I mean, it's one of the best pleasures you experience.
And you're not willing to wait for that.
That's not your question, though. So, like, that's why I said it was a trap. You're saying, are you willing to wait? Yes, I'm willing to wait. Am I right now? No, that's the honesty
and your reason being no is what?
Because I mean, it
just feels too good.
It's the pleasure. I mean, it's a worldly pleasure.
Okay. I mean, I feel what you're saying, but I want to get into the detail. The reason.
Are we truth is like what's going on here?
No, we are exactly because the reason why I want to get into the details of it is because I think that's where most people are. I think most people feel how you're feeling it, but if we just say no and we leave it there, we're not getting to the reason.
Yeah, but I'm not going to cap. I'm not going to cap and act like I'm not. You know what I mean?
But I'm not even asking you to do that. Yeah. I'm just saying. So if you had to more detail describe, like, look, I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
Nigga, I probably got more bodies than you, and I probably been more out of pocket than you have.
You definitely have more bodies than me.
100%.
Definitely.
So I'm not even no saint talking to you right now.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, in general, like, hey, why is this decision hard for you to make to the point of like outside of? Is it just like it's sex?
You know,
let me take it to the next level, right? If you trust God enough, right?
Yeah.
You should trust that there's a happiness. This sounds crazy,
but there's a purpose of it.
You should trust that His way leads to a better outcome, right? So then. Is it a lack of trust? Are you kind of saying, you know what? All right, look, like
I don't think it's a lack of trust. I don't think anyone feels like God's way is not the correct way. I think the level of discipline that it takes to maintain celibacy over a long period of time is something that I think both of us are honest with ourselves in saying we can't complete that mission. We're not there yet.
Not yet.
But we're not saying it's not going to lead to greener pastures if you walk that way. We're just saying in our walk with Christ, we haven't reached that level.
But do you think you're capable of it though?
I think I am. I think I'm capable of all things through Christ who strengthens me. So of course I think I'm capable of it, but I don't think I'm capable of running a marathon, but I can't get up and run it tomorrow.
That's a good analogy.
But are you trying to run a marathon or are you just cool with not running a marathon? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I think
like
now,
you know what I mean? Are you genuinely trying to run the marathon?
About who I share myself with. I can say that. The older I get more intentional about who I decide to share myself with than as if you would have talked to me 8 or 9 years ago. There would probably been a lot less discipline about who I'm willing, what type of girl I'm willing.
And I heard y'all. So this is what I'll say on it too. I think there's a couple of things to highlight. One, as someone who's waiting till marriage, I have to acknowledge that I don't think waiting till marriage is an end all solution. I think I really appreciate having these type of conversations because they highlight that relationships and navigating relationships have many nuances outside of just like listening to the one rule that's so clear of waiting till marriage. Like there's so much more that goes into it outside of that. I will kind of like, as someone who's doing that cosign, that there is a level of clarity and an ability to connect with somebody that you can access through waiting till marriage. But at the same time, like, I think at minimum, if I could just ask at minimum, I think as men, we have an opportunity to set the tone. And when I say that, what I mean is when you're dealing with girls, right? There's some situations where you know that like you might have to want better for her than she wants for herself. Mm-hmm. Like she's okay with a friends with benefit situation. She's okay with the just having sex and whatever, but
maybe she's not valuing herself.
She's not valuing herself on a high enough level. Yeah. I think as Christians, as men, not to be that guy, but I do think we have an opportunity to kind of like call women to a higher place. And if at minimum, at least allowing that temptation to fall in itself at a moment where it's like, my pursuits are genuine. Yeah. I have more of a respect for that than a situation where it's like, I know I'm not gonna wife it. I know I'm not even on you like that, but I'm busting it down.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You feel me?
That's a place we need to all grow out of.
We need to get there.
Oh man. But outside of that though, I do love I love this conversation that we're having. I think that when I hear Kevin Samuels, when I hear Fresh and Fit or whatever, there's always like a little bit of, I think, just disrespect that women get thrown, or
Toxic
masculinity that gets thrown out there, that I think as Christians I wanted to kind of provide a more like holistic perspective on. You know what I mean? Y'all my guys, and y'all, you know, I'm glad that we had this conversation.
And I think there's a lot more conversations to be had.
No, for
because
sure.
it is very complex situations, and like just it takes more than like maybe a 2-hour session to get through it. But I think hopefully somebody took something from this.
No,